Ali, let's start with you, mate, and we'll do predictions while we're there. So Zebra and Cardiff expectations.
Um, we've seen some positives from Cardiff this week. There's gone, it seems like the attack's starting to go back in. I don't know where we can improve in terms of personnel, so I imagine we're probably looking at the same 23 again, unless someone's miraculously come fit. But I mean, Zebra are going to be very confident after that win against the Sharks, because everyone beats the Sharks. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal to beat them 35-0 at home.
Oh,
Um,
fucking hell, here we go.
Jesus Christ.
So I had to get that last win because I've got a feeling when it comes to time to play them in Durban again, it's not going to be that. Yeah, so Zebra are looking really good. They're probably, I'd say, in terms of like how much they're spending and their sort of like squad makeup, probably on a par with the Welsh Regions. And they've ran pretty much every team close. This is the first time they didn't score 4 tries. I'm actually quite worried as a Cardiff fan. I'd have been less so if it was a cap, but I mean, going out there, they should have beaten Ulster in the first week. They're going to be like, I genuinely dreading this game because I was talking with Hugh because he's getting a lot of mentions on this. But we were both saying that Zebra are going to get some big scalps, and we reckon they're going to probably get both. They're going to win both their games against Welsh opposition at home, and I don't want to be the first one to do it.
So, what's your prediction for Zebra Cardiff then?
Me being optimistic, I'm going Zebra by 2.
Zebra by 2. Okay. And your predictions?
And if you find that's on the sheet already.
Yeah, I've seen it. He's one of those guys, James, that like brings in an apple for teacher. Here you go, sir. Look at me.
I was a dickhead. I was a dickhead to teachers at school.
Go on,
like spreadsheets.
Let's go down your predictions then. So your predictions for Dragons and Osprey then, Harley. What have you got?
I'm going Ospreys by 5 purely because it's going to be a Welsh derby. Therefore, it's going to be close and it's going to be horrid. But I think Ospreys are just going to edge it. I feel like they've got that little bit more. I think it's going to come down to a bit of confidence. I wouldn't rule Dragons out because they have managed to pull some results out at Dave's Parade. But I think there's a bit too much for Ospreys. I think Ospreys are going to have a bit too much for Dragons at the moment. I feel like they've got a really nice cohesive team set up at the moment. I mean, I'd be saying that's probably me being on the gentler side of Dragons.
Okay, so Osprey by 5, and then Leinster Scarlets.
Sorry, Lee. I think Leinster by 13. I just the Death Star's fully operational. Again, I'm trying to be. I feel like I'm being nicer to the home sides, to the Welsh side on most of these. Like, even if they put the same team out they did against the Dragons, I think they're still going to cause you a lot of problems. Mainly because I think, similar to last week, it's going to be the decision making and the fact that they've only beaten Cardiff so far this season. I think that's going to play on their head. Whereas Leinster are going to be like, well, of course we're winning this. The Glasgow game was a blip, and that's just how it's going to be.
Okie dokie. So, James, what have you got for Zebra Cardiff, my friend?
I'm going to go Zebra by 5. I think this is going to be a lot tighter game than probably people might predict. Again, Zebra, a really exciting squad. We've seen it. There's not much more to say about them. They just need to shore up that defence. They're still really soft around the edges, giving away stupid penalties, things like that. But they are playing the Welsh team who like to give away stupid penalties and sometimes going to be a bit softer on the edges. So, there's still a lot of excitement to come. I'm trying to think. Who's the lad that went from Gloucester, the Italy international, to Zebra?
Oh, I know the one you mean. He was in England international when he
Jake Pelledri.
Yeah,
that's the one.
All right, okay, different one.
I was reminded today that Pelledri is in that Zebra squad.
Is he?
What an inch! Yeah, he is in that Zebra squad. I only found out because I'm friends with his brother, and completely forgot that Jake Pelledri is now at Zebra. And a fit Jake Pelledri is to come back in that
Mm.
squad with the ball carriers they have, that can cause that will cause Cardiff some damage if he's fit, which I'm hoping he is. So yeah, Zebra by 5. I just think I think it could be a high scoring game, but I think it'll just edge in Zebra's favour.
Okay. Dragons Ospreys.
I hate predicting Dragons Ospreys because it's like, you ask any Ospreys fan where they hate playing the most, and it is probably Rodney Parade. We we just never seem to play well there. We just seem to, and Dragons will have their annual game where they turn up and be fucking amazing, and they'll play like the 2015 All Blacks. Steph Hughes will somehow turn into 2015 Mar Nonu, and Jared Rosser, will turn into Julian Savia. But no, seriously, I've gone Ospreys by 6. I just think the Dragons' ill discipline will be the Achilles heel for them, especially come scrum time. I'd be very surprised if Dragons get a nudge on the scrum in any way, shape, or form. You can see that Booth clearly rested Tom Boter for the Dragons game. Nicky coming back in, Dewi Lake, or all of a sudden you're thinking, all right, it might not be the straightest line out in the world, but that scrum will be going forward.
Mm.
And then just just that taking that defence onwards. 95% tackle completion against Glasgow with 7 missed tackles is probably the best we've had in years. If we can replicate that, then I can't see, Dragons really, really threatening our line. It'll just be penalties. So yeah,
Okay.
and then finally, Leinster versus Scarlets. I was going to go Leinster by more, no less, sorry. But then I had a discussion with my deputy head at school, who's a diehard Leinster fan, and I've now gone Leinster by 20. I also seeing what Leo Cullen said, more Irish internationals come back against Leinster. Yeah, I think this could get ugly. Um, there's certainly a lot. Where can Scarlets target Leinster? Maybe in and around the scrum. Their scrum wasn't amazing against the Dragons, but you got to remember they're scrumming against the Dragons. Leinster, there is an Achilles heel there. Scarlets are just going to find it and exploit it, and it's going to take a lot of soul searching, I think, to come back and get any sort of result there. So I've gone Leinster by 20.
Okie dokie. So Jamie hasn't given us his, but let's assume that he's going to say Dragons are going to lose, and then we'll work the rest out after on that. So for me, I've gone Cardiff by 3. I think there'll be a reaction. I think you've come so close in so many games that there'll be, a little bit more focus and a little bit more, this has got to get over the line. I think the bit that goes against you is this in Zebra. It's in Parma. So yeah, that's going to count against you. But sometimes when a side's had that long without a win, and then they have one win and they get a little bit, take their eye off the ball or take their foot off the gas or whatever just for a week, and I think you might be lucky. So yeah, I think the two will work together. So I've gone Cardiff by 3. Ospreys and Dragons. Yeah, I've got exactly the same as yourself, James. I think that they always pull out one game in the season, and it's usually against Scarlets. So yeah, I'm hoping that if they pull out one game against you, that means that they won't have it against us. So I'm going to go Dragons by 5. If nothing else, it'll wind Jamie up because he can't stand it when people start predicting that Dragons win and start having a bit of confidence in them. But I genuinely don't think that the Dragons are that far away as everyone believes. It's such a small margins, and I think once those small margins start coming, they will start, playing some decent rugby again. So yeah, Dragons by 5, and then Leinster by 10, just because. I just couldn't predict myself. Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to predict any worse than that, in all honesty. And I know it's going to be a hard game. and I say, it's Leinster. Where do you look at? I hope if somebody from the kickoff is just an almighty punch up and the referee goes, right, 3 Leinster players off, and then we'll go, right, okay, now we're in the game, boys. Now we're in the game. Or something like that.
You'll only lose by 5 there then.
Yeah. It's that Jonah Lungu thing. Why did they score 3 points? I got sent off. It's yeah. So that's my predictions for the weekend. I was going to run down the predictions league, but we haven't really got time, guys. So there's plenty of time in the season for that. But safe to say, Harley first, Jamie second, me third, and James in fourth. The only guy that can make Carwin's predictions look normal. So well done on that. So